Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear on this Monday morning. Got a great show lineup. In fact, right here in the studio, I have the best speckled trout fisherman in the Florida Panhandle with us. He's going to give us his secrets and show you some really neat things. But first, let's get our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today is only going to get up to 84 only. And it's going to be humid now with all the rain we had last week. Low is going to be 77. Now, water temperature is hanging down around 83, so it did cool off about last Wednesday. It started cooling down, and it stayed down for about close to going on a week now. So that has made a little bit of difference, and a lot of fresh water out there too. So just be aware of that. Now, that fresh water only, goes out about a mile or so. A lot of fresh water, but out deep water, you still got a lot of salty water. Look at our river reading. I'm sorry, we're going to skip the river readings today. Look at our moon phase. Every Monday we like to do that. We've got our full moon coming up Thursday, the 18th. So we're in a waxing moon. We're also going to have some strong tides coming up this week too. Looking at the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking there at 8:26 a.m. is the high tide, and low tide is at 6:47. Now on our the wind forecast today is still coming out of south-southeast, and that disturbance has had a big impact last week on a lot of rain and all. And of course, you've been watching the weather to see what's going on, so just be aware of that on our freshwater rivers and all. It's just high and muddy, okay? But the forecast today is southeast at about 15, so it's still going to be pretty rough out there. All right, let's take a break and be right back with our guest. Welcome back and welcome to a familiar face here on Panhandle Outdoors, Captain Roy.
Well, it's good to be back with you.
Well, it's great to have you. When I say the best speckled trout fisherman around, here you see looking at him right now. And we were talking the other day, and Captain Roy, we're talking about we got new viewers coming on all the time, and I know your customers come in from out of town. They've been watching on YouTube, so we're going to give you a little bit of history before we get into what's going on now. The Ray family has been here since how long? Forever, seems like.
Yeah. Well, my dad came down in the early 1920s.
Yeah.
And they've been here. In fact, he said he and his brother came down here to seek a wife. He said everybody in Walden County was kin to him. And they came down here. Actually, the two youngest Buchanan girls were still available. And they married them, and so we got double. I got double first cousins. Double first cousins. So, when my cousin and I got ready to seek a wife, we had to go back up to Walden County.
You had to go the other way.
Everybody down here was kin to it. And the Buchanan family, they were all Bible believing, Bible living Christians, and they read in the Bible somewhere where God said, "Be fruitful and multiply,"
yep.
And they obeyed Him. Let me tell you. Yeah. Anyway. It's good to be back on there.
Good to have you. I know I did a good story on Captain Roy's family right here. This service station here at the corner, 79. Right there, you go into the airport, 79 and 388. The Ray service station there for 20s and 30s and 40s, and you said your dad had a big gator there and all that.
Yeah, my daddy actually built a little one-room grocery store, and he caught $50 worth of alligator hides. Sold them, and he built that store and put groceries in it. And this was somewhere back in probably about the time I was born, a little before, in the early 30s. And of course it grew. Service stations and then bigger grocery stores, and our family grew too. That was right on the corner, 388.
Yeah, that's back when you could harvest the gators and get the money from them, and you had to put the money to good use for the family. So
right.
We had a lot of gators. I know you told me stories and stories of gator hunting. We don't have time to get into that, but y'all had some interesting stories about gator hunting back in those days.
Right, and that was part of my job, was to entertain the tourists with those alligators, and that's where I would book my fishing trips. I had me a sign I put on the gator pen. Had a guide. I think that was all the time I was in grade school up there at West Bay. I'd guide people out in the bay fishing for about 50 cents or $1. Go ahead, Winston. I don't want to take
No,
up
no,
the show.
that's the background we want to talk about, you know, Captain Roy didn't start fishing last week now. He'd been doing it a long time, and he was guiding back in the 30s. And we're talking about, we have some great new guys coming on and all, but Captain Roy's been doing it so long, I consider him the king of the bay, actually, when it comes to speckled trout fishing. And but you were able to use this particular lure.
Yeah.
And you sort of perfected it.
You know, back in when I started guiding, Winston, everybody, not too many people actually bay fish. They fish for the speckled trout in the wintertime. And I would fish I take people out there we had a long cane pole and a big old float on it. And if I had a trip, I'd go down to the bayou the afternoon before and get me some pennywinkles. That's the little snails that grows on the rush grass. Had a hammer and a boat and a brick bat in the boat. I'd break the pennywinkle and catch me some pinfish, and we'd fish with them, cut bait from them. And you put the cut bait on your bait on a number 2 hook under that big old cork, throw it out there and pop the cork, make it look like a fish striking, and that would attract the fish to them. That's how my dad, he came up with the method of using a jig under a float, and the jig that he used was a Lewis special made by Mr. Lewis Spink. Lived over across Phillips Inlet, and this was the original raised spec rig right there. And my dad, he would actually, Winston, go out and catch speckled trout and sell them. At that time, Mary Farms had come in and they had put a net across part of West Bay, and they got inside and they killed everything in there. And they would raise their shrimp and feed them, and that feed would float up against the net and draw the bait fish up there and draw the trout and redfish. My dad would take this raised spec rig, and there's a picture of it right there.
Okay. All right. I'll hold it.
You got to hold it. Yeah. But this is the jig that he fished with. And he would catch 30, 40 pounds of speckled trout and go sell them. But there were a lot of trout then.
Yeah, they were being chummed up.
Let's show this jig is one that I sold originally, and it was this came out of my mold. Am I moving around too much for you, Bob? Okay.
Hold it right there.
That's the old one.
Yeah.
And it caught a lot of fish. But one thing back when I was using it, there was more fish to catch, more speckled trout than there are now.
Yeah.
And I had to modernize. And I will show you what I was going to and replace that with. Bob, how can I do it like this?
That's good right there.
Right there.
Right there? Okay, this is the old and this is the new. And the advantage of this one, Winston, you see, well, this fallacy was ladyfish and mackerel. If they struck this bait, they'd tear the feathers off of it. And what I've done, I added the put fish hair on them now, and I found out that they actually bit this bait with this loose tail better than they did the one with the feathers in it. So it got more bite and it's more durable.
Okay.
The ladyfish, they don't tear that up. They don't bite it off.
Okay.
And you know, it's a cheaper way to fish. Jigs, you go buy a pack of jigs and then throw one out there, and by the way, there's good baits out there, other good baits. But throw it out there one time and a panfish eats the tail off of it, it's sort of disgusting.
I know.
They can't do that with my jig.
All right, we're going to take a quick and come back, Captain Roy. Welcome back. Glad you're with us on this Monday morning. Before we get back to Captain Roy and his pictures, I got a picture sent by a viewer. Check this out right here. Okay, this is a nice mess of fish. Wanted to share this picture with you. We caught these sheephead down in Weewall, 9 o'clock Saturday and also 12 o'clock Sunday. Stayed at Fisherman's Landing. Had a wonderful time. Hopefully one day we'll catch you down there. Daryl Weeks and Cindy. Okay, you see a nice mess of fish right there. Good job, Daryl and Cindy. Okay, Captain Roy, we got some pictures too that you sent. Tell us about these pictures here.
These are some people that came down Winston. I'm thinking they came from, I think they live up in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And because they talked about knowing the Presleys up there. That's where Elvis.
Yeah, they probably saw Elvis.
Anyway, this is Wally Keeler.
Okay.
And I think he's from Memphis, Tennessee. He was about 8 or 9 years old. He's a good fisherman.
Yeah.
Most of the time I get on the fish, when I get a kid on the boat like that, I let him get up on the front. And I tell him I don't have but one rule on my boat. You don't hook the captain. And he didn't even hit me one time. He could cast. Now look, now he saw some nice trout, and there's a catfish. I believe that catfish, he enjoyed catching that catfish more than he did that trout. Those things, they'll give you.
They're strong.
And, let's talk about that just for a second.
Okay, let's do.
Just about all my life, people going fishing to catch the best fish for the table. I've been trying to get people to change their attitude about fishing. It's more catching fish than catching them for your table. That's all you're going to do. We'll go down to Tarpon Dock Seafood and buy you a mess of fish.
There you go.
It's cheaper, and they'll clean them for you. The sport of fishing, catching fish. I saw you and your grandson, I believe, on the dock, him catching a ladyfish. And that kid had a time.
He had a ball.
And that's what it's all about, is the sport of fishing. And especially if you fish with artificial bait, you fool that fish and you caught him, and if you don't want to eat him, turn him loose.
Yeah.
You catch him again next time you go. I wish people would get that attitude rather than, I see them on Facebook going to the river, where they've been to the river someplace, and they'll have the limit, a big brim and shell crackers and things piled up there. In the first place, I don't want to clean that many.
That's true now.
And my brother and I go up there fishing. Sometimes I go up there and catch them, go with him, and don't even keep them. I like just to catch them on the fly and release them. If we keep fish, he'll keep 7 and I'll keep about 7 fish. And we put them in a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket with some water in it. We throw them over there in. When we get all we want to keep, sometimes we'll change them out. If we got a big old one in there, we catch them about a hand size, we'll turn the big one loose and keep them alive and release them alive.
Good idea.
And so catch and release makes you feel good.
And we talked about that before, and I think a lot of our viewers are doing that now. Back in the day, I think it really goes back to the Depression era when so many people had to catch fish to get by on, and that's sort of been slowly, everything's sufficient enough. We can go down to the seafood market and buy those kinds. You're right. So a lot of us do that, and I'm glad to see you're encouraging it too.
Yeah, we want to leave something for kids like this when their generations when they come on.
That is so true.
And
okay, now we got our next picture. That's Kenny Ray, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's he up to?
Yeah, Kenny and I, we went to prove this jig in. When I made it, Winston, I couldn't get the same paint that I had. And I did make them out of feathers. I wanted to make sure that we had a fish bait that fish would bite and it was durable. And I had to change the paint a little bit because the paint began to come off of them. Actually, I put about 3. And sometimes if it don't look right, I put 4 coats of epoxy paint on these jigs. I make about 5 cents an hour off. But anyway,
I understand.
I was fishing ahead of him, and I was fishing. Can you get one more shot of this little shorty jig I got over here?
Well, let's finish the pictures right now.
All right, finish the picture,
move the camera. Okay, that's the one he caught there.
Yeah, all this was caught on this new.
And you see the jig right there in the mouth. That's a great picture right there. So okay, so we got the pictures.
Okay, we didn't show this little shorty jig. Can you see it, Bob?
You got it, Bob. It's actually.
If you notice, that's got a 2-inch tail on it, and the head on it is lighter than the head that I show these. I'll get it one more time so that you can see them.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. That's good. All right.
And this one, I caught more speckled trout on this little shorty. I caught him shorty, and Kenny did on the long tail one, but he caught more redfish than I did.
That's interesting.
So this little shorty jig is going to be we're going to try it on crappie. As a matter of fact, it's on consignment now up at Lake Seminole. Guy Jody Weld, he's a guide over there. And by the way, if you want to catch some fish in Lake Seminole, if you give me a call, I'll hook you up with him. He says that crappie's going to eat it up.
Yeah.
And he's going to put it on consignment this week and let me know about that.
So you started making, basically you started making these again. I know you went for
Yeah,
a
they
period of
died.
time. Was all
That
you
bait has died. The Ray Speck rig, it's died twice. Mr. Lewis Spinks died. Of course, the Lewis Special died with him. And when I retired from the telephone company, I wanted some of those baits, and because it was the best bait I'd ever fished with. And before he died, he gave everything he had to Dr. Owen Reese. And I called Dr. Reese and go get him to make me some. He couldn't. But that's how I got into jig business. He loaned me the mold. And after about 6 months of trying, I learned how to pull them and make, because those jigs, those feathers are actually molded in the ledge. I can see it right there. They won't come out. You can pull on it all you want. As a matter of fact, that jig will last you, this guarantee will last you a lifetime if you don't lose it.
Yeah, these are not machine manufactured overseas or something. These are handmade right here in Bay County. That's why, you know, when I started fishing, I want to vouch for them too. I fish with these a lot, and I've caught more speckled trout off of Ray Speck jigs than anything I've ever fished with. So I'm going to go ahead and give a testimonial right now on it. So
well, they died. They died again, Winston.
I know, that's what happened. Quit making them, and I scrambled around to get all I could, and now you started making them again. That's why he's on the show today. We're going to take a break and come back and tell you where you can find some of these. Welcome back, folks. Glad you're with us here with Captain Roy Ray, the man who's caught more speckled trout than anybody in Florida Panhandle. And I would say that unequivocally, and because what has happened, he's been doing it a long time, so he's got a head start on it. But he goes out there on a regular basis and he produces. I've fished with him before. He's an awesome fisherman. Let's do our fishing game times right now. Brought to us by Barron's Barbecue Shrimp Marinade. We're looking at 10:40 to 12:40 right here in the middle of the day. 10:40 to 12:40, that's a good time. And then this tonight, 11:06 to 1:06. If my choice, I would take the one in the middle of the day. And we'll skip that. All right, now listen, let's tell folks right now where they can find them. You got them in 3 places.
Right now, I have Sunjammers. Now, let me tell you a quick story about that one.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether these things would sell or not. I was going to revive them and see if they would sell, so I took some down to Sunjammers on Beck Avenue. I took him 2 dozen packages of jigs and 2 dozen packages of rigs already rigged up. That's the way you can buy them, either way. And I just left them. Old Brad, he was off up there in New York gallivanting. He wasn't there, so I just left them. And I've got to have a radio fishing report that I give twice a day on News Talk Radio, 14:30 a.m. And I put a message on there that I had left some down at Sunjammers. And the next day, somebody came back and bought every one of them.
There you go.
And so they don't, and come to find out, now Brad won't put them back down in the store on Beck Avenue.
Yeah, he keeps all the fishing stuff at Highway 79 at Sunjammers.
So they still got some out there as far as I know.
Okay.
And CG Sporting Goods.
Okay.
And it's carrying on. I just put them in there, and I've got some then at
Howell Tackle.
Howell Tackle.
Okay, those 3 places. Okay.
And I may get some over on the east side, but I won't ever put them back in Walmart.
No,
you have to go to a local store.
We don't do box stores, but we do all local businesses. Also, you might want to check next week or 2 down at Blue Water, because we've got a lot of viewers down there to cover. So that's local people too. So anyway, you know where to get them now. Now, what we decided to do, Captain Roy and I, we're going to give some. Tell us what we're going to draw a name and give some away this morning. So
let me tell you why I got back in this business. Of course, I don't go fishing as much as I used to. My wife won't let me. At one time, I remember once or twice I booked 6 trips in 1 week, and my wife took over the schedule and said no more. I took 2 trips on Saturday. Don't fish on Sunday, but anyway, I'm going to fish some. But I like to make the jigs. I want to make a bait that everybody catch fish with, and everybody can catch one on these jigs. So that was the reason I got back into business, and we're going to. You just take what we're going to do.
Tell us what we're going to give away. We're going to give away a couple of packages.
We're going to give away a package of jigs and a rig already rigged up. And by the way, now I did autograph these because people are going to do like they did. They're going
Be a
to make
collector.
antiques out of them.
Be a
But
collector.
I plan to make them for a while anyway. So
Okay.
fish with them.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna draw the name out, and the winner is going to be Nita Ivy up at Sandy Creek. Nita Ivy. Nita, give me a call, and we'll see how you can pick these up, either CNG
And I'm also going to put it in one of the original raised spec rigs. You can keep that for an antique and fish with these. And you
Okay.
pick them up at CNG Sporting Goods.
Well, we'll see. We'll get them down there. That'll be good. Real quick, Captain Roy, give a couple of fishing tips in general
Okay.
for catching speckled trout.
Okay, speckled trout fishing. Find the porpoises.
Find the porpoise. I like that.
No, I've got spots that I fish depending on the tide, and that's the thing you need to learn. Usually on full tide, you big trout, or your trout's going to be up in a creek or a bayou or up in the real shallow. And as that tide goes out, the fish move out. So if you get around the mouth of one of those bayous about the turn of the tide, that's my favorite time to fish, when the tide turns out. Then they're going to move out into deeper waters. Now, speckled trout, apparently are going to spawn. The ones I caught, the last one I caught, people kept a couple of them and said they're full of roe. And they spawn out in deeper water, 4 or 5 feet of water. Folks, just keep your boat moving. Now, some of these places I get in on the turn of the tide, I put my anchor out and I let them catch them. But the porpoises are going to be there.
What's your favorite season of the year to fish for them?
Well, people ask me the best time to go fishing. I always tell them she'll let you go. But actually, my favorite is sort of on the beginning and the ending of the season, like in April, in the spring when they're first coming out, they're hungry, and then in the fall when they start back into the creek, usually in October, late October. I like October; it's a beautiful month, and usually the weather's not quite so hot, and that's my favorite time to fish.
And you still taking people fishing? You going fishing with people?
Yeah,
also,
I go with them fishing. On a limited basis, but. And I still will.
Y'all give Captain Roy a call. Well, we got to wrap it up. Captain Roy, thank you so much.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I always enjoy having Captain Roy on. Okay, so thank you all viewing the show. We appreciate our viewers and our sponsors. We ask you to always do something good for your fellow man. Have a great day and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.